Process. Here comes Rubalcaba. Rubalcaba dribbling to the center. Rubalcaba! Haley dribbles her way through the player. Now serves across towards the far post. Arriving Cailin! Goal! Manoliliua at the edge of the 18. Touches it onto her right. Fires! What a save by Katie McLaughlin!
Hey, will anyone get there for DVC? It's Yasmin firing! Turns, Plancarte! What a save by Megan Holmes!
Tied by the last defender. Valentine comes out. Noel drills the keeper. Levis! Goal! And that is a DVC victory! Welcome, faithful followers of the Green and White. I'm Joe Hickey, the radio voice of DVC Athletics, and this is Vikings Soccer Rewind, a little trip down memory lane to help us pass a long fall season without DVC sports. Today, a number of the major characters of this 3-year story arc are going to come into focus as we get our first look at the 2016 team and perhaps its greatest rival, the Mustangs of San Joaquin Delta College. After the 2015 team made the playoffs as the 12th seed, Coach Mullins and company lost a good chunk of that team, which is generally what happens when you had 14 returners the year before. But the players that did come back were among the most important players on the pitch. Katie McLaughlin, who'd posted a .36 goals against average in 2015 in a platoon with Sammy Hebbing, took over the full-time goalkeeper duties, while Dej Dargan and Dre Weinstein returned to marshal the defense, and Carla Ramos and Hannah Lewis came back as forwards. Now, while the defense and the attack were shored up with kickbacks from four-year schools in Zoe Raymer, Ale Gonzalez, and Cameron Chan, DVC would find the center of the park to be a lot greener than usual, as they fielded an all-freshman unit of Vanessa Rubalcaba, Megan Melara, and Chloe Lindemann in the midfield. These were, however, no ordinary freshmen. The balance of invention, vision, calm, and physical force was chef's kiss right from the word go. And DVC had the look of champions as they dismantled Cabrillo 4-0, then outlasted Las Positas 3-2 to win their first two matches. After adding a powerful center forward with a nose for goal, which they found, of all places, on their coaching staff in Noel Lemus, they would win 7 in a row to start the season, and they enter today's match at 8-0-2 and sitting alone atop the Big 8 conference. With a win already in their pockets over perennial champion Santa Rosa, as well as a scoreless draw with newcomers Folsom Lake, the Vikings went to Stockton on September 30th to face off with the last of this quartet that would eventually take the Big 8 title race down to the final minutes of the season. So that's where we're headed. I'll see you at halftime when I'll be joined by 2/3 of that all-freshman midfield to talk about this game in particular and the rivalry with Delta in general. But for now, enjoy the first half of Delta DVC here on Vikings Soccer Rewind. DVC splaying out, and we'll give you their formation right now. It's back to basics. Katie McLaughlin in goal, Dre Weinstein, Zoe Raymer, Dej Dargan, and Jess Jaime across the defense. Megan Melara, Chloe Lindemann, and Vanessa Rubalcaba in the midfield. And in the forward line, Cam Chan on the right, Carla Ramos on the left, bracketing Noel Lemus dead center. They are in their road white kits with the New England Patriots font green numbers on the back and on the front left of the chest. DVC in green across the chest as well. Katie McLaughlin back in goal with a red jersey over black shorts and white socks. As for San Joaquin Delta, their lineup has a couple of small changes. Mainly, Ashlyn Sotelo is missing. She was the center back last year, a freshman who scored against the Vikings and generally made our lives miserable trying to get goals. She is missing, and in her place, Rachel Braun appears to be starting in the right back position. She is joined by Shayla Simonich, Hunter Wells, and looks like Devin Burnham in the in the defensive line in front of goalkeeper Amanda Valentine. Midfield consisting of Isabella Mesa as we are brought into motion, and the ball immediately kicked down the left wing for the run of Kiki Muñiz, who immediately gets behind Dre Weinstein, trying to earn the byline, looks to cut herself off, now crosses, and that is vague and not going to get to its intended target. Taken away by Carla Ramos, who absorbs what I thought was a foul from Jasmine Basweel, and indeed the center official, Mr. Rudy Almeida, agrees with me and whistles the first foul against San Joaquin Delta. As for the rest of that lineup, we were saying Isabella Mesa, Jasmine Basweel, and Olivia Ritter in the midfield, and then it is Daisha Brown on the right, Kiki Muñiz on the left, and Leah Manoleleula, as advertised, in the center. Their leading scorer on 12 goals at this point. DVC about to take the free kick from the back. It's Dej Dargan who will punt this one away from about 20 yards shy of the midfield stripe. Ball falling in the Delta midfield, popped up with the foot of Baswheel, headed by Ritter from just in front of Chloe Lindemann. Rushing in to try to claim it was Cam Chan. Not quite able to get control, but Rubalcaba does. Dumps that back to no one in particular, taken away by Daisha Brown. Good work there by Rubalcaba and Dargan to close in and make sure that didn't get anywhere, though. Left over here to the left side for Ramos. She has to backtrack under pressure from both Brown and the 24, who, not this again, is not on my roster. I'll have to figure out who that is. Baswheel heads it into the center. We've had this issue every season that they've got a number of players who have different numbers at home and on the road, and I end up not knowing who's who. At any rate, the ball over the left side, I definitely know who this is. Kiki Munoz trying to get behind Dre Weinstein. Still Munoz firing, and that is going to go off target wide left with no touch from Little Dre. So first shot taken by Delta does not find the target here in minute number 2. So our other officials running around just in front of me is Clint Copeland, the AR1, DVC on the right side player bench. And so the Vikings currently attacking from right to left, going at the goal very distant from us. San Joaquin Delta in the all-black kit. Used to have a bit of a gradient. I don't see it anymore. It's just an all-black kit with gold numbers in sort of a futuristic type font. But otherwise, black, and more black on the jersey. Here's Carla Ramos trying to shove a ball into the forward lines, looking for Noelle Lemus. Nothing doing. Long clearance by Delta is met with the head of Zoe Raymer. One touch from Lindemann, and now Raymer clears it a little more authoritatively. Takes a wicked hop off the AstroTurf and just gets over the head of Noelle Lemus. Reflected by Delta, and now in possession of Dargan. Forward now for Megan Melara. She looks to spray it over to the right side for Cam Chan, trying to cut her way inside the left back on her first touch. Can't. Dre Weinstein gets to the ball and pushes it forward. Taken away, though, and now here's Leah Manaleleua working on Dej Dargan. Tried to hold her off, now works her run over to the left side from the center. She's met there as well by the 24 for DVC, Chan. Now tries a cross, maybe shot, can't quite tell. Either way, it's off target to the right side. We'll call that shot number 2. Delta certainly thus far with the better of the possession in the attacking end, but yet to do much of anything with it. Most of this game so far being played in the center areas. And so as we were saying, DVC attacking the goal distant from us. Katie McLaughlin from just in front of the player bench taking the goal kick. This is driven and met with the head of, again, Jasmine Baswheel in the center. Claimed by Rubalcaba, tries to spray it forward in between Ramos and Lemus. And claimed by Delta. Trying to get through Rubalcaba is the number 7, Simonich, who's come way up into the field, and now she puts the ball forward looking for Manalele. Oh, out comes McLaughlin and claims it right at the top of the 18. Good attentive goalkeeping from the number 00. And I think they have whistled a foul, actually, on Manaleleua for her follow-through. No, never mind. Nope. Thought for a second Katie was just going to put that on the ground for a free kick, but it's still a drop kick. Ball still in play. Met with the head of a Delta player in the center circle, but it comes out to Carla Ramos, and she looks to put a ball down the left side for Noelle Lemus. Lemus at the left corner of the 18-yard box, now dribbling out to the side, looking to enter the 18, puts her defender onto the deck, now puts it into the 18-yard box, met with the head of Chan, still alive in front. Goal! Go, 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 go! Megan Melara! Sorry about that. She was running with her right side to me, and I was looking for a captain's armband. Wasn't sure I saw it. Either way, on the Noelle Lemus ball inside, Chan, I believe, got to that, put it off the crossbar. It rattled around inside the 6, but in the 4th minute, an unassisted opening goal for Megan Melara. She rises to 6 on the DVC goal-scoring charts now, tying Noelle Lemus atop that. And actually would technically be the leader on the basis of her 3 assists. Delta immediately trying to spring an attack down to their side, but snuffed out by McLaughlin. Jaime on the ball, gets Brown in the air and is able to get by her. Now works her way central. Finds Noelle Lemus. Lemus trying to get a ball out of the midfield. She's tied up there on the left with Simonich, who actually does not seem to be playing defense. Simonich wins that contrast. Hoofs it forward, and with one touch from the head, Zoe Raymer directs that to Katie Mack. With the arms out to the right side for Cam Chan. We heard from the Folsom Lake men's coach, as a matter of fact, that in that midweek blasting that Delta took, 5-1 to Folsom Lake, one of the main mistakes they seem to be making was trying to press the Falcons, and that led to a lot of openings. DVC already taking advantage of one that way, getting a ball into the possession of Lemus, and she did some great work over on the left to put the number 24 right on her butt. Foul committed over at the far sideline, the third whistled against San Joaquin Delta. Gonna dribble that a little further into the center for Dre Weinstein to take it. So Melara in the fourth. And DVC continue this general trend of having barely trailed this season. Actually, they've not trailed this season. They've barely spent much time tied. Chloe Lindemann, the free kick, drifting into the 18, trying to be met by Ramos. It's at her feet. Ramos looking to poke it through for Noel Lemus. Punched away by San Joaquin Delta, and now DVC a little bit exposed at the back. Jaime crept up to try to claim it. Daisha Brown gets there instead, puts it over the right side, looking for Manaleleua. Seems to have a handful of Dej Dargan. The two of them battling on it. Dej trying to use her body. It is out the back without a touch from DVC's number 9, and it is a goal kick. Fantastic defending from Dej. A little bit of desperate stuff there. Jaime had cheated forward and left the right side pretty wide open, but that has been Dargan's specialty all season. The ability to play that sweeper role. Let's Jaime get a little more stuck in with Ramos, try to take balls away on the left side, knowing that they have that security there at the back. Long ball from McLaughlin, met with the head of Lemus for a moment. Melara's got it, and she puts it down the right flank. Looks like Valentine is going to come out and claim that from in front of Cam Chan and put it out the far sideline for a Viking throw. So your count so far, obviously 1-0 as we reach minute number 7. 2-2 the shot count, 2-0 the shots on goal count in favor of DVC. Delta have committed all 3 fouls, and we've yet to see a corner. Throw in taken down the right side for Vanessa Rubalcaba. 2 defenders on her. She takes it, tries to heel flick it through them. Baswheel is equal to that challenge. Ball worked forward, and here comes Muñiz trying to get by Dre Weinstein. Look out, Raymer's got a cover. Dargan looking to try to deal with Manaleleua, and it's still Muñiz. And look at Chloe Lindemann come on back and take that. Almost forgot we basically have a 5th defender back there, and that's going to be a big part of her job today. Ball worked forward, Daisha Brown looking to play a 1-2 with Muñiz. Blocked nicely by Raymer. Played down the left wing by Ramos, looking for Noel Lemus to get onto it. And here comes Noel. Noel looking to dust Simonich again. Noel cuts a run into the center. Tries to skip around another player. Noel firing, got way too far under it, and that's going to balloon over for a goal kick. But a busy, furious start for DVC. They've put 3 shots in that direction, one of them onto the frame and one of them in the back of the net. Melara punching in at the right side after Cam Chan had struck the left post. We've seen Melara score some absolutely gorgeous goals this season. That might be the easiest one she's had from about 2 feet. It's like they say, though, 90% of success is just being there. Raymer over the top looking for Lemus, trying to beat the defender to it. Fires! Valentine saves it. Still drifting in the at the edge of the 18-yard box. Scuffed clearance by Delta. Put out to the left wing looking for Ramos, and DVC looking for another one. Ramos trying to take on the mysterious 24. Here's Ramos trying to earn the byline. Gets a touch from the defender, perhaps. It is out the back, and a goal kick. So we're mentioning here, I did the calculation right before kickoff. DVC have spent, before this game, 578 of their 900 minutes this season in the lead. They spent 322, and it got up to 326 today before this was broken again. 326 minutes now, tied. Only 81 of those with goals on the board. Most of it has been in 0-0 situations. It's basically just waiting for that first goal by the green and white. They have yet to trail this season. Ball laid over the right side, looking for Cam Chan. Can she get there before it goes over the end line? She does! Fires! Save Valentine! Melara! Cleared off the line. Ball still kicking around inside the 18. And cleared. Nope, not cleared. It's going to stick right on the foot of the Delta player. But another pair of shots on goal for the Vikings. 4 already. One of those saved by Valentine. One cleared off the line. One off a post. And one in the back of the net. Phenomenal start for the Vikings. 9.5 minutes in. Leah Manaleleua looking to get something against the run of play. Works her way to the right back edge of the box. Daisha Brown crosses it, cleared by Jess Jaime from the top of the 6. Rubalcaba trying to come together against the 24, who uses a good bit of arm to try to get that ball away from Vane. Goes to ground and can't resist the arrival of Rubalcaba. Put over to the left side now at the midfield stripe for Ramos, and she accelerates. Puts a ball into space now for Lemus to get to at the edge of the 18. Tried to cross it over to the right for Melara, who had a head of steam. Intercepted, though, by Delta, and they work it over to the right edge of their defensive zone under a ton of Viking pressure at this point. 1-0, Melara, your scorer in the 4th. We are now in the 11th. Manaleleua working again against Dargan, and this matchup has been, thus far, pretty well controlled by DVC's captain in the number 9 shirt. Megan Melara, speaking of captains, battling with the 14 in the center, Olivia Ritter. This time the Delta player gets the better of it. Worked into the middle for Burnham. Brings the ball forward in the direction of Daisha Brown, but claimed instead by Jess Jaime. Ramos able to reach the rolling ball just before it got over the sideline. Couldn't find a teammate, but the long ball forward is intercepted by Dargan. DVC back on it. Back in the defensive area, pressure coming from Brown. She'll drop back to Jaime. Still trying to get a feel for exactly how they've lined themselves up here. It does seem that the 24 is on my roster. It's Rachel Braun. I was just looking in the wrong area. So that is Rachel Braun playing at the right back position, and it is Simonich and Wells in the center, and Burnham appears to be over there as the back. So Mesa and Ritter are the more advanced midfielders, and Baswheel is certainly playing a deeper lying position. Same formation that the Vikings have, so Baswheel is essentially their Lindemann. Throw in for the Vikings from the near sideline, put right back out by Delta, taken again by Jaime, and Noelle Lemus doing good work to find some space, tries to put in a cross. That's going to go on one big hop into the arms of Valentine. I think she was looking for Chan, but got the inside of the boot wrapped a little bit too much around it, and it's easy pickings for her. Long ball driven, met by the body of Jess Jaime, backtracking Daisha Brown, not able to get back far enough to handle it. Ramos trying to work, has it taken off of her, but claimed again by Lindemann. Back to Jess. Into the center for Melara, gets the touch with the outside of the boot, and now Lemus tries to defend it. Noelle putting it again into the right channel, this time though far too direct, and again met by Valentine. She tries to put it to the left side immediately. They want to get the ball on the foot of Kiki Muñiz, who thus far, besides an immediate opportunity within 30 seconds of kickoff, has really yet to trouble DVC. I say that utterly terrified of inciting the commentator's curse. Manaleleua over here at the right side, claiming a ball just before it goes out of touch. And now taken away by Melara under pressure from Dargan. A pair of DVC Vikings getting warmed up. Erica McDonald and Ale Gonzalez, as well as Tasha Stridiron now joining them, running around and trying to get loose behind me. Chan receives the ball at the midfield stripe over on the right side. Now changes the point of attack to the left for Melara. Her ball forward for Ramos is blocked. And Brown will hold that in play just in front of the near sideline. Drop back now to Braun. Braun waiting, now puts this down the right side, trying to find the arrival of the 18, Mesa. Her first touch, though, will carry it over the touch line, and it'll be a throw-in for Jess Jaime, and I think possibly substitutions. No, not just yet. Tosses into Melara, gives it right back to Jessica, and she puts it forward looking for Lemus. A handful of a jersey, I believe this time Noelle doing battle with the number 7, Shayla Simonich. And that is DVC's first foul of the day. 5-2 your shot count, 4-0 shots on goal, 3-1 the foul count. Delta with more of those, 1-0 your score on the scoreboard. Melara in the 4th, we are now in the 14th. Free kick is taken into the center circle. Trying to accelerate now is Isabel Mesa. Mesa tries to blow by Zoe Raymer. She does, but it comes free to Dargan. Look out here, though. Her attempt at a clearance banks off of Burnham. Excuse me, it was Burnham, not Wells that was coming forward there. Banked that off of the player, and it caroms to Katie McLaughlin, but not without putting a little scare in front of us. We know we've got a goal poacher waiting to punch something in there in Leah Manaleleua. Daisha Brown receives a bounding ball. Drops it back to Mesa, and now to Rachel Braun. She tries a long direct ball, met with the foot of Zoe Raymer. Good control to put that into the back sort of defensive three-quarter zone for Vanessa Rubalcaba. She moves it to the right side for Cam Chan. Chan advancing, playing a little bit more of a deep-lying position than we're accustomed to. Tries to find Megan Melara coming up the gut. Braun crosses over and puts the ball over to the right wing. Chan, I think, was thinking about protecting that, but it started bouncing straight up, so she actually does have to play it. Lindemann, now Raymer hoofing it forward, looking for Melara. She takes a blow and absorbs the 4th Delta foul. That one from Isabella Mesa, excuse me. Again, 4-1 that count. The foul as she was taken to ground, a little bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder knock as Melara tried to play that ball, is right at the front of the center circle. Chloe Lindemann will put this one deep. DVC with their entire defensive line at the midfield stripe. Everybody else basically crowding the box. The attempted ball in is blocked by Olivia Ritter, the 14. And now claimed by Muñiz, who tries to get off to a run in front of Chan. DVC hoping to put at least 2 or 3 people between her and the goal at all times. Melara trying to claim a ball here from Dej Dargan. Intercepted by Manaleleua. Tries to play a 1-2 with Daisha Brown. And upstent stage one more time. And claims it. Ramos, under pressure, loses the ball. Ritter trying to get it. Megan Melara does well to shield her off. Drop back to Jess. Jaime down the left sideline. Lemus will get there first. Plays that, as it works out, off of Braun and out for a throw. And that'll be an opportunity for DVC to author their first substitutions here in minute number 16. Tasha Stridiron in, as well as Ale Gonzalez. And Rubalcaba leaves, as does Carla Ramos. So looks like Stridiron into the midfield. She'll play a more advanced position with Lindemann already operating the defensive quarterback role. And Ale seems to pick up a station here on the left side. Holds the ball bouncing in play and now works her way over to the left side in front of Braun. Here comes her cross into the 18. Valentine gets there just before Noel does and picks that ball up. A DVC authoring yet another dangerous attack. And it's almost not fair, really, for a lot of defenses that you take off somebody like Ramos and put in somebody as vivacious as Ale Gonzalez. Very aggressive player. Here's a ball into the center. Stridiron got a touch, couldn't hold it there. Muñiz looks like she's trying to get a little more of the ball, and she looks to get off to a run, blocked by Zoe Raymer as she tried to put the ball down the left flank. I think they might be working Muñiz into the midfield as a bit of a tactical adjustment. Working over to the left side now for Stridiron. We'll see if she can beat Simanic to it. Simanic gets there first, played out onto the baseball field behind us, and that'll be a throw-in for the Vikes as soon as they've got a ball to use. I talked a little bit to Coach Mullins on the ride over here about the challenge offered by somebody like Kiki Muñiz, who definitely is playing more central, looking for more of the ball. That is actually right where the Vikings would love her to stay. You think about Amanda Galbraith, somebody like that Santa Rosa striker who, despite all of her prolific scoring for Santa Rosa, has been generally pretty bottled up by DVC in the 3 meetings they've had. She only finally got on the board in the 88th minute in desperation time of their 3rd meeting. And Coach Mullins told us, really, it funnels you into our strength if you're somebody who likes to play up the middle. And she did. She was bottled up by Lindemann for a half while she played in the midfield, and then furthermore bottled up by Zoe Raymer and Dej Dargan once she moved into the striker. Not Zoe Raymer. That was the game she was out with a concussion. Jess Jaime and Dej Dargan. And so that's the sort of thing the Vikings definitely know how to deal with. Muñiz comes in from the left side, and if she beats your right back, she can absolutely sow panic and chaos inside the 18 as the Vikings earn a throw-in just in front of me off the foot of Daisha Brown. And that's exactly what we saw last year. 3 times in that season she managed to beat the right back, I believe in most of those occasions, probably Dre Weinstein, just because she played almost every minute at that position last year. And she really made things pretty miserable for Dre. In each of those cases, beating her, and just before the center back arrived to do something about it, managing to punch the ball through Sammy Hebbing. And so a really rough stretch of defending there against Muñiz. So she only scored 5 goals really in the last 10 games of last season, cooled off considerably as the ball is thrown in towards Manaleleula, gets a head to it, and it bounces just in front of Olivia Ritter as she crossed in at the top of the 6. McLaughlin gets her arms up and grabs it. Whew! That ball in was a little bit scary, especially once it was headed on by Leah in the middle. The drop kick claimed by Stridiron tried to dump it for Melara, but I think Megan wasn't quite moving the direction Tasha expected. No matter. The next Delta pass comes right back to Tasha, and she looks to feed Ale on the left wing. Puts this down the line. That might run too far. Nope, Ale gets there. Holds it in play. Now starts her dribbling in from the left side. Neat little step over to try to beat Braun. Gets by her again, trying to enter the 18 on the left side, and it's taken away from her by Simanic. Ball played up towards Brown. Jaime comes up to body her at the 3-quarter zone. Daisha Brown trying to spin, faked it left, and then tried to roll it up the line. Claimed there by Muñiz. Lindemann on her. And now Muñiz gets by Lindemann with a little shifty bit of running. Shows too much of that to Melara, though, and it's cleared off of her foot. Comes to Jess Jaime, tries to play that over on the left. Daisha Brown holding it in. Melara back to it with the sole of her foot. Rolls that away from the number 4. Forward for Jess. Right back to Melara. Muñiz crashing in, puts it forward for Ale, who's got Rachel Braun all over her, and I think Braun makes a motion towards the center official, Mr. Almeida, as if perhaps Ale was giving as good as she got and had a handful of her jersey. Either way, it goes out for a Viking throw. About 20 minutes in. Toss to Tasha Stridiron. Knocked away again by Braun from just in front of Ale. Another throw in for DVC from the center stripe. Left side of their attack, Jess Jaime on it. Forward for Tasha. Stridiron. Working her way forward now. Little step around. Manages to get through a defender. Now beats Simanic. Tries to roll this towards the top of the 18. Trying to load up a shot. Just barely wide of the left post. Great individual effort by Tosh on the stroke of the 20-minute mark. We'll record that as the 6th shot, but that looked like a highlight reel goal for just a moment. Worked her way up to the half moon. Took a rip with the right boot, and Valentine may have had that covered, but either way, it winds up wide of the post. There is a Delta player on the ground. Braun gets back to her feet, I think, in trying to deal with Tasha's run. She wound up thrown into the ground, and she will leave, and actually the expected starter, Ashlyn Sotelo, enters. So that's our first substitution on the Delta side. It's Sotelo, Simonich, Wells, and Burnham across the defense. Baswheel, Ritter, and Mesa in the midfield, although at the moment Mullins is playing a great deal more in the midfield. It looks like, it looks like Olivia Ritter, in fact, may be playing the left flank role right now with Mullins trying to get a little more of the ball. Meanwhile, DVC also offering a substitution. Maya Himmel is in, Cam Chan off. Ball is out on the far sideline. A throw-in to come here for Delta College. Taken back and forth over there. I think Devin Burnham working through on an overlap. Thinking about a cross. Puts it on her right foot. Rolls this into the center and shows way too much of that to Stridiron as she tried to find, it's the 21 in there. That seems to be Erica Diaz, who also came in as Sotelo did. Looks, if I had to venture a guess, like Diaz came in for Isabella Mesa. So I don't think I see the 18 out there anymore. Ball is out on the far sideline for a Viking throw, taken just in front of the midfield stripe by Dre. Tasha handles that, tries to sombrero her defender, comes free to Maya Himmel, who can't quite get her way around Burnham. Rolled into the center circle for Kiki Munoz, out here to the right now for Daisha Brown, and Jess Jaime steps in, takes that one away. Working to Ale Gonzalez, trying to find space in the center, puts this over the top, looking for Stridiron, just a little bit too hot for her to get to with her chest. Cleared by Simonich, and the clearance is handled for a moment by Manaleleua. Here comes Jess Jaime right back, and she is defending that, trying to make sure it doesn't go out. Unfortunately, forced to touch it right before it went over the touch line, and a throw to come here for the Mustangs. Halfway point of period number 1. Vikings on top, 1-0 on Melara's 4th-minute goal. Punch in at the left post. Another throw-in headed by Manaleleua, trying to shoot really over her own head was Olivia Ritter, and put that far too high, and it winds up being Delta's 3rd shot, although yet to put one on frame. Another substitution, Daisha Brown coming out, and entering seems to be the number 6. No, excuse me, it's the number 5. That is Alyssa Holmes. Long drive met with the head of Tasha Stridiron. She's doing battle with Baswheel and commits a foul as she tries to win that ball. Baswheel on the ground with her head on the turf at the moment. Second Viking foul against 4 by the Mustangs. So we'll take the opportunity to recap real quick. It's Sotelo, Simonich, Wells, and Burnham across the back. Seems to be now up front, Holmes, Manaleleua, and Ritter. And then it is now the substitute. We'll get the rest of that in a second. I've run out of people. The substitute Diaz, Munoz, and Baswheel in the midfield. There we go. Long ball put in toward the box is cleared away immediately by the DVC defense. Maya Himmel trying to hold that in, and it's cleared by Baswheel right off of Maya's chest, and that comes to her. She'll put it over to the left side now, looking to get Ale off to the races. Tasha's looking to press. Ale getting by Sotelo, but she sweeps out a leg right at the last moment and sweeps the ball into touch. Throw in to come for DVC. So the Vikings soccer team, not the only DVC team in action. In fact, volleyball, football, and cross country all busy today. And so we may hear a little bit regarding, in particular, that cross country meet, since Modesto is the destination for volleyball, and they don't get started until right around the time of our final whistle. And football will be starting a little bit after that. They are actually playing San Joaquin Delta also, but they're hosting them over at Vikings Field, the 3rd of their 5 home games this season. Throw-in taken down the left wing, trying to get Gonzalez, but Sotelo does good work to shepherd it out for a goal kick. Cross-country team, like volleyball, is also in Modesto. Jackie Ponciano-Babb's volleyball team beat Santa Rosa in straight sets in their return home on Wednesday, so good news for them. They actually nudged their conference record to 500 and their overall record back over 500 at 6-5. We'll talk a little more about that in a moment. The ball's over here on the right side for Alyssa Holmes. Jess Jaime trying to body her up and blocks the attempted cross out for the first corner kick of today's game for either side. So fouls and corners where Delta currently leads. Shots on goal, and of course goals where the Vikings lead with 20 minutes, just a few seconds less to go in our first period. Coming over to take that will be Olivia Ritter. One-woman wall is Ale Gonzalez. 5 Mustangs crashing in from the top left area of the box. This one going to the back post. Met with the fist of Katie McLaughlin. Still bouncing about. Cleared off the line by Megan Melara. And the flag. No, the goal given by the match official. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it from Mr. Copeland over here on this side. I would have expected he would have been the one to put it in. Perhaps we'll get an announcement of who it is that scored on that. The ball poked over the line, cleared from very near the line by Melara, but I thought it was going to not be given, so it's 1-1 in minute number 26. Scorer unknown, but the ball was headed towards the far post. McLaughlin got a little bit of a hand to it, but chested down by a Delta player. Oh, and I've got a little assistance here from Mr. Copeland. He says it's the number 17, so Devin Burnham cleaning up that mess, and that's kind of been the theme so far in today's match is messy balls rattling around inside the 6-yard box and being punched in. Melara's, there was absolutely no doubt about it as she reached it right at the touch line, or at the byline essentially, and rippled the net in a hurry. This one was hit from about the top of the 6, and Megan Melara from right inside her box, right inside the goal, I should say, tried to clear it. May talk with Mr. Copeland at halftime just to find out, but at any rate, Melara in the 4th, Burnham in the 26th, and it is a 1-1 game here in Stockton. Long ball from the goalkeeper Valentin after Ale Gonzalez had tried to operate an attack down the left side. Met with the foot of Jess Jaime, but it's out for a Mustang throw in the defensive area. Muñiz working on it. Jessica Jaime takes her ball for Holmes away, plays it off of Holmes, and it'll be a throw now for DVC. This one taken right to the center line for Megan Melara. Turns. Passes it laterally for Ramos. Into the middle now again for Melara. Pressure coming from Muñiz, and she'll hoof this one into the center. Met with the head of Ale Gonzalez. Tasha Stridiron trying to get there before Baswheel can't. Ale tracking back, though, and puts pressure on. Weinstein intercepts the pass, in part due to her pressure. And here's a ball forward looking for Carla Ramos. Ramos gets this on her left, fires, gets way under it, and it's going to go well over Valentin's goal. 7th Vikings shot. Delta on their 4th shot and first on goal have leveled this encounter here in the first half. So if I'm not mistaken, Carla Ramos, Ale Gonzalez, and Maya Himmel are now your front line. So Ale started off when she came in down the left wing. She's now the center forward with Noelle Lemus having come off the pitch. Trying to figure out who it is that came in as the ball is played forward up the left side by San Joaquin Delta. Met with the head of Simonich after a clearance by DVC. Comes to Tasha Stridiron. Blasts her way through Diaz. Now puts this into the 3-quarter zone for Ale. Ale's first touch leads her back into traffic. She tries to bring a ball forward for Tasha. Met instead by the 36 Baswheel, and forward now for Diaz, who gets off to a run up the gut. From the center circle, trying to feed Ritter over on the left side. Looks to step around Weinstein and does. Here comes Ritter, top of the 18-yard box. Weinstein tracking back, got a touch to it. Now she fires! And it's over the top of McLaughlin's crossbar. Olivia Ritter trying to even up that shot count. It's now 7-5 in favor of the Vikings. 4-1 in shots on goal, but Delta starting to grow a little bit more into this game. Stridiron's going to come off, and in her place will be Rubalcaba. Still trying to figure out exactly who it is that Lemus came off for. But we'll just sum up what we've got right now. It's still Weinstein, Raymer, Dargan, and Jaime across the back. It's Lindemann, Melara, and now Rubalcaba in the center. Ale Gonzalez, the center forward, bracketed by Ramos and Himmel. Ramos trying to take a ball away, and Gonzalez ends up on the deck holding her shin. Hope that's nothing serious. Cleared by Delta for a moment. Now Ramos trying to work against Sotelo. Looks like she nudged the ball away from her for just a moment. Next line of defense, Simonich came up and cleared it. Sotelo now trying to spray it down the left, headed by Jess Jaime into the center. An attempted clearance by Lindemann is scuffed. Dargan able to settle the ball, but plays it right to Alyssa Holmes. Holmes trying to step around Jaime. Good pressure coming from behind from Ramos, and she plays that right to Melara. Melara drilling a ball down the left wing. Recovered by Sotelo. Ramos body to body with her. Ramos still working on it. Touches it away from her before it goes over the end line and finds Ale Gonzalez with that ball. Ale, little step over to try to beat Simonich. Gets it off of her boot before Simonich's slide. No one really running into that space to take it, though. Cleared by the defense, and now Gonzalez hassling the 21 Diaz and forcing an errant ball and a throw-in for DVC. That one taken right, unfortunately, to Alyssa Holmes as Jessica tried to find Megan Melara. Played out again, though, by the Mustangs as we are inside the final quarter of an hour of our first half. This ball in the direction of Ramos. Reaches out and pulls that ball back to her body against Sotelo. Ramos trying to slide a ball into the left side of the box for Gonzalez. Gonzalez putting it in. Himmel rattling about. Could it be another garbage goal? The ball's still rattling. Ramos can't get it on frame, and it's going to be cleared by Delta. Himmel was bodied up with a defender, and now Delta try to break as the ball goes forward for Manaleleua. Raymer working against her. Manaleleua wins the ball, tries to work to the left side. Dre Weinstein returning, and Dej Dargan sweeps and takes the ball off of the high-scoring center forward. Dargan and Manaleleua again engaged, though, and Leah has taken it away. Tries to put in a cross for Holmes, and on a short hop, Katie Mack will absorb that into her body. Immediately out here to the left side for Carla Ramos. Sotelo looking to challenge her. Takes the ball away, but it's going to be out for a DVC throw. Jessica Jaime will take that in just a moment. And so DVC's lead lasting just 22 minutes. That's 22 more minutes they have spent in the lead this season. As we said, every minute so far this season spent either level or on top. And here's a ball headed by Ale Gonzalez. Comes to Carla Ramos. Shows too much of it to Simonich. Or excuse me, to the 13, rather. It's Hunter Wells crossing over from the left center back position to deal with Carla Ramos coming up her right side. Clearance is handled by Dargan in the center circle. Tried to work it over to the left. Looks like it took a little deflection off of Muñiz and is claimed by Sotelo. Her ball forward, though, for Holmes. She's sleeping a little bit, and Jess Jaime earns it. Throw in to come for DVC after Jaime and Holmes got locked up. Substitutions, though, first. Cam Chan will be entering. Looks like Maya Himmel making the long run over from the right side over to the player benches. And Daisha Brown re-entering. She'll go over to the left flank in place of Olivia Ritter. So and Holmes are bracketing Manaleleua right now. It appears to be Diaz, Baswil, and Kiki Muñiz in the midfield. Kiki playing from a very different position from where we're accustomed to seeing her, likely in large part because of the lack of service she was getting. Ramos trying to handle the ball in front of Sotelo. Sotelo keeps the ball in play, tries to go up the sideline, and Jaime nearly held that ball in with a little toe roll. Could even see Mr. Copeland kind of twitch to look, was there any daylight between it and the touch line, and he decided absolutely there was. Valiant effort, but unrewarded. Ale Gonzalez rolls the ball into the center of the three-quarter zone for Rubalcaba. Dumps this to Ramos coming up the side with a ton of steam, and now finds Cam Chan unmarked at the right edge of the box. Cam is taken care of by Devin Burnham, crossing back into her position. It's a deceptive look over there. The ball claimed here by DVC. Played by Weinstein into the center circle for Jess Jaime. Forward now for Melara. Pokes this with the toe towards Ale. Trying to slip it through two defenders for Ramos. Running out the back. Sotelo is wise to it. And this one is going to be curled out here and into the post supporting the canopy. Lizzie Chavez, good quick footwork to get out of the way. DVC throw in to come, and Jess Jaime will take that in just a moment. Looking for Ramos, trying to get it over Alyssa Holmes. She does so. Ramos actually touches it through the legs of Sotelo, and now it's Ale Gonzalez looking to blast her way through the defender. Puts it over to the right side, sliced it a little bit. Cam Chan's going to have to backtrack. She does get it, puts it into the right side of the box for Rubalcaba. Out comes Valentine and claims it. 11 minutes, 11 seconds left on the board for half number one. 1-1. Lots of ones on the scoreboard right now. Our scoreline. Daisha Brown at the midfield stripe. Working her way forward, trying to thread a ball into the Route 1 channel. And look out, Jess Jaime is swung and missed. The ball given away to Alyssa Holmes, and it's Zoe Raymer defending against the arrival of Alyssa Holmes. A whistle and a foul in attack, and DVC's blushes are spared. Younger one probably with her heart in her throat right there. But the fifth Delta foul lets us off the hook. To be fair, Raymer and Dargan doing good work to close down Leah Manaleleua as she tried to clean that one up. Long ball is taken down by Rubalcaba. Tried to hoof it forward towards Ramos in the flank. Sotelo gets there first. Forward looking for Ritter. She meets with her opposing number 14. And Jaime better in that challenge. Raymer gets it forward for Ramos. Tried with one touch to put it by Sotelo for Gonzalez. Nothing doing. Ball cleared up the right flank here and held in by Holmes, who was in an offside position. Free kick to come here for DVC. So we mentioned beforehand that you didn't have that Folsom Lake Delta result earlier during the last podcast. That was 5-1 2 days ago. Claypool, Miller, O'Donnell, Torres, and Navarro all tallying for Folsom Lake in a game where, as the Folsom Lake men's coach told us after viewing it, he thought that they were just trying to play way too high of a line. Ball played down the left side by Dargan looking for Ramos. That's going to go out, though. A little too hot for Carla. Of course, Manaleleua did still get hers. She had the one goal in the 59th minute, but by that point it was already 4-0. Window dressing really at the best. The more interesting game that was left over actually ended up being CRC-ARC. That won a 1-1 draw, but a lot more exciting than that sounds. DVC, though, in the attack, so we'll tell you about that later. Vanessa Rubalcaba trying to step around the arrival of Baswheel, gets into the box in the left corner, trying to get her way around as well. Simonic working towards the byline, still Rubalcaba. The ball is still held there, no fouls as the two of them go body on body. Now puts in a cross looking for Melara. Bodied away by Delta, the ball rolling towards the touchline. Taken away by Sotelo, last touched by her. And it'll be a Vikings throw-in from the attacking zone. In that game, CRC got up in the 8th minute. Andrea Story scoring her, I think, first goal in conference play. And about a half hour later, ARC's story got worse, it appeared, as they went down a woman, Amber Morales, picking up a red card. However, they would manage to weather the entire remaining 55 minutes without giving up another goal and nabbed one right at the death. 85th minute, Amanda Holtzen, who was their high scorer last season despite the fact that she missed about half the year. She gets her first goal of 2016 and gives ARC a pretty valuable road point at Consumnes River. Here's a ball into the box on the throw-in for Gonzalez. She puts it into the 18! And it's met by Melara, but she can't quite keep the shot down. Great cross by Gonzalez from the top left edge, and that ball was destined for the front of the 6. Melara hit that on the volley and couldn't quite keep it down. 8 minutes to go, 1-1 our score. This ball is met by Rubalcaba after it just gets over Baswheel. Unfortunately, couldn't quite settle it. Simonic gives it right back to Baswheel. Now the pressure coming from Rubalcaba. She sweeps the ball away. Lemus, who just re-entered for DVC, trying to get onto that, but met first by Simonic, dumps back to Valentine, and showing way too much of it to Rubalcaba for a moment was Hunter Wells, but she just does avoid embarrassment right there. Ball played forward by Delta into the center circle, intercepted there by Dargan. Finds Rubalcaba. She tries to scoop this ball up towards Lemus, met first by Sotelo. And Sotelo and Lemus about the same size, and that could be a battle, except that Sotelo's not on the proper part of the pitch to really be interacting with Noelle a whole lot. Here comes the throw from Sotelo. Batted around, Gonzalez trying to claim it out in front of the 14 Ritter and uses the body expertly to get it. Puts it into the center for Lindemann, and it's a bad hit. Diaz, on her first touch, puts it down the right line looking for Holmes. Jaime able to defend it, and the flag goes up for a shove by Holmes. That'll be the 6th Delta foul against 2 by DVC. Free kick Vikings. 6 minutes, 45 seconds to go. So it is still the back line as Mr. Almeida wants a few words with the number 5 in black. Jaime will crank this one deep. Ball drifting towards the sideline, but will stay in play for Gonzalez to get to it. Touches that through the arrival of Holmes. Drops back for Dargan. Manaleleua putting on pressure. She'll go back to Jaime. Into the midfield looking for the arrival of Melara with a little bit of a heel/sole of the shoe flick. She puts it behind herself for Noelle Lemus. Her first touch drops that into space on the right looking for Weinstein. Tracking back was Daisha Brown, though, along with DVC's speedy right back, and they take it away. Ball rolled to Baswheel in the center, gets under her foot and comes to Ale Gonzalez, and she's going to hoof this one deep, looking for Noelle Lemus, met instead with the head of Simonic. Sotelo trying to beat Rubalcaba to it. They get there at about the same time, and Vane wins the ball. Vane puts it into the center for Gonzalez. Ale, ooh! I was going to say that if that had been ruled a fair shoulder challenge, I don't know what I would have had to make of it right there, but she takes a blow from the 14, Olivia Ritter. The 7th Delta foul, and I thought for a moment maybe Mr. Almeida wanted a word and perhaps a card there. I guess nothing terribly reckless, but that was a collision in the center. 5.5 minutes to go. DVC with a free kick about 10 yards over the midfield stripe. Lindemann will take this. Hoofs this into the 18-yard box. Looking for it is Lemus, and it takes one bounce just a little bit to the left of her foot and into the chest of Amanda Valentine. Another long drive. So same story, actually very similar story so far to the Modesto match. An early Vikings tally. They've 4 times this season scored in the opening 5 minutes of a match. And 3 of those have come against Big 8 powers. They did it to Santa Rosa. That was Melara. They did it at Modesto. That was Lemus. And, of course, today, again, Melara. Unfortunately, approaching the half hour, a set piece ends up condemning the Vikings to a level encounter, at least for now. A little under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Jaime and Gonzalez working a throw-in over here. Gonzalez now to Rubalcaba. Tries to push this one into the center circle. Unfortunately, no one really moving there for DVC. I think she was trying to get it all the way to Chan over on the right, but scuffed it a little. Here's the ball forward, looking for Manaleleua. Raymer had her bodied up, and Dargan crosses over to take it. Manaleleua seeming to have a handful of Dargan. Dargan's clearance is right up against Melara, who is alert to drop back and give it to Dre Weinstein. That clearance is going to be taken by Basswheel in the midfield. Over to the left back, Burnham, the scorer of that goal on, as we said, both goals today off essentially garbage. A ball still left over in the midfield, or in the 18-yard box, in the 6-yard box from an attempted shot. And look out here, long drive taken by Olivia Ritter from about 35 yards. That's going to be handled easily by Katie Mack. You always worry about those. If you calibrate it just right, could be really bad news. Ale Gonzalez working in the center circle against Ashlyn Sotelo. She gets bundled to ground. No foul given for that. And Sotelo is going to try to spring another attack. This one for Manaleleua, who's bodying up Raymer. Now tries to turn off of her left. Manaleleua puts in a shove to try to get by her. Pushes the ball through. Here comes Ritter on the left, firing, and Katie Mack holds. But I saw at least 2 fouls in there, and the DVC bench sounds like they heard them too. Or saw them too. At any rate, the shot count's just about even right now. It's 8-7 in favor of the Vikings and 4-3 in terms of shots on goal. Ruvalcaba on this here. That was the first really scary shot besides the one that wound up in the back of the net. Here's Ale Gonzalez working in on a diagonal from the left. She's gotten behind Sotelo. Sotelo, she's now trying to dribble around Simonich. Did she show too much of it or out? Out comes Valentine. The ball played just into her body. I thought maybe it had ricocheted off for a corner kick. Nothing doing. The gold-clad Delta keeper coming out to take. She's got her shorts so short, I swear, it almost looks like a skirt from here. She's also wearing really, really long black socks, so it's a very confusing look for a commentator. A big black star outlined on that jersey. Ball worked over here to the right side for Alyssa Holmes. Drops it back into the three-quarter zone for Ritter. Lindemann up to pressure. Ball dropped back for Diaz. She fires from distance. Not a whole lot of venom on that. I think that was probably intended as an outlet for Manaleleua, but either way, it evens up both counts. 8 shots for each team, 4 shots on goal for each team, one goal apiece. Melara in the 4th, Burnham in the 26th. Gonzalez trying to beat Basswheel. Basswheel had a bit of an armful of her right there, and Gonzalez runs up the back of her. Foul called against Ale. The scoreboard clock stopped at the 2 minutes to go mark. And Sotelo will take this from just barely across the midfield stripe here at the near sideline. Comes her long ball towards the top of the 18, met with the head of Diaz, put out to the right side of the box. Jaime will get there, punches this out of play, about 10 yards from goal. Won't have to wait for a ball to be given back. Apparently the official... Oh, okay. I thought for a moment the official was motioning to keep the clock rolling. No, he was motioning for a substitution. I should know that symbol by now. At any rate, Erica McDonald coming in for the last few moments of half number 1 for the Vikings. Kiki Muñiz back in. She had left for a little while. She replaces Leah Manaleleua and seems to immediately station herself as the center forward. Seems like Delta are looking for a place they can put her where she can actually victimize DVC. So far, that's been nowhere. She gets ahead, though, to this throw-in, and it's cleared at the top of the box by Rubalcaba. Shot taken, ball drifting across, and Ritter tries to reach out and poke it goalward. After it had taken first shot by Daisha Brown had taken a deflection, luckily goes right to Katie Mack, but Delta actually leading now in shots. Her goal kick, or drop kick rather, takes a big hop in the center circle, claimed now by Rachel Braun. Chloe Lindemann on it, battling with the 14, Olivia Ritter, who has grown in stature over the course of this first half, and she finds Holmes on the right side. Here comes a cross in for Muñiz, glancing header, and McLaughlin's able to get to that. She was doing a very aggressive diagonal run from about the penalty dot to the right edge of the 6, I think just trying to flick Holmes' cross. 1 minute to go, as indicated by Mr. Copeland here at the near sideline. The scoreboard clock, as we said, is currently stopped, but who needs a clock when you got a voice like that? Kiki Muñiz trying to work against Zoe Raymer. Gets to the right side of her, nearing the half moon, tries to slide a ball over here to the right side for Alyssa Holmes. Holmes fires, and Jess Jaime blocks it out for a Viking corner. Excuse me, a Delta corner, I should say. So we'll need to watch out right here. Corner kick is what led to the first goal of today's match, their first corner and their first shot on goal. They've since put 5 more on frame. Here it comes from Ritter on the right side. Another ball drifting towards the penalty dot. Met with a head from a Delta player. Still bouncing around. Muñiz trying to lay that back. Shot taken by Erica Diaz. Blocked at point-blank range by Noelle Lemus. Still rattling around. Claimed by Braun. Puts it to the right side here for Ritter, who's still in position from the corner kick. Trying to dribble her way through Melara and McDonald, and does. At the right edge of the box. Slides this over to the number 5, Holmes. She clears the ball out for a throw. Actually got a piece of Lindemann in the process. No foul given, and that is going to do it for half number 1. So DVC with an initial bit of domination. They get their first goal in the 4th minute off of yet another early offensive action, but near the half hour, much like in the Modesto match, the equalizer coming from Devin Burnham off of a ball rattling around following a corner kick. We will go ahead and send it to the interval. DVC 1, Delta 1. And welcome back to the year 2020, our game from 4 years back, poised on a knife's edge at the break, 1-1 on goals from Melara and Burnham, as DVC and Delta battle for position in the upper part of the Big 8 standings. For today's break, I'm joined by 2 members of that astonishing all-freshman midfield from the 2016 team, Chloe Lindemann and the scorer of today's opener, Megan Melara. Ladies, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, thank you.
Now, starting off with just the last 45 minutes, what, if anything, do you two remember about either this specific game or just the feeling of that rivalry with Delta in general?
I feel like at first we were like, okay, like this is going to be another tough opponent, but we're going to be fine. We can pull through. Like we had a lot of faith in each other. And then I feel like it didn't really hit us until we actually started playing that we were like, oh, like this is going to be a really hard game. And I feel like we stepped it up, but we should have probably stepped up a little bit further. I feel like we could have. And I feel like it kind of just caught us by surprise, personally. We were like, oh, okay, they're going to be a really tough opponent. And that was honestly one of our hardest games, I would say, in that entire season.
Yeah, I just remember the girls were really big and they were fast. I know that one girl was super, super fast, so we knew that we needed to watch out for her. And I think before this, all of our games were pretty easy. So this was a game that we really had to step up with.
Yeah, came into this game 8-0-2 at that point. Maybe a few subtly disappointing draws in there, but for the most part, yeah, just laying waste to all in your path. Now, this is the first look that our viewers are getting at the 2016 DVC squad. It's tempting to think that the fluency of that midfield and attack would be something that had to develop over the course of an entire season, but my recollection is you kind of looked like this on opening day. I guess my question to you is, at what point did it become apparent to you all that you might have something special in this club?
I would definitely say it was like during the first game. Like we all trained really hard during practices. Like they were not easy. Like we were all pushing ourselves. And like one thing I noticed during practices that we did a lot was we would bring each other up. Like we weren't like we wouldn't get mad at each other if we like messed up or anything. And so when like our first game happened, I feel like we kind of already had, like, this, like, trust in each other. And then, like, I think, like, the first maybe, like, 5 or 10 minutes we're kind of, like, getting used to each other and, like, playing with each other. And then after that, it just stuck. And it's funny, I look back, and my dad, he says that all the parents on the sideline were like, oh, my gosh, like, within the first 10 minutes of the game, they were like, this team works so well together, a group of girls that have never, ever even, like, played with each other or anything, and they just knew it was going to be a heck of a season and a heck of a team. So,
yeah, Megan, we've talked a lot about just the all freshmen in that midfield in particular, and that engine room was just something to behold that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I think we all brought something different. Vane could take on anyone and score herself. She could do it all herself. So she'd take on 10 people, have an open player, and pass it to them. Chloe's a rock in the back. The defensive mid was amazing. Tosh would always come in and be able to dominate anyone with their speed and her size and everything. I just think everyone brought something different that just worked really well together.
Now, this was also an early example of something that became a really major trend that season, which was the really early goal to set a tone. This team just pounced on clubs. I think by the end of the year, it was 11 or 12 times out of 26 matches, DVC had a goal on the board inside 10 minutes. What was the attitude like? Eventually, it turned into a strategy. As I recall, the team was put out there for that reason. What made you so good at pouncing on clubs like this?
We, at practice, would work on a fast break. We wanted to come out very, very strong. And it was just a different energy we had. I know we had an amazing starting 11, but we also had an incredible bench. So we were able to keep the tempo up right off the bat. And if people got tired, then another person would come in and have an even higher tempo. And I know what really helped me in a lot of the games was hearing all my teammates, pump me up. And that was something our team was really, really good at doing. Everyone had a very positive attitude and just had high energy.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I would say, well, I know before every game, our coach would always just kind of run down our throats, like, within the first 5 minutes, just get that goal. And it would, like, really set the tone for all of our games. Like, it kind of basically would show our opponents that, like, we're here to win. Like, we're here to play. And I second that, like, having our team, like, pumping us up and, like, constantly just, like, being positive and just constantly, like, saying, like, you guys can do it. Like, it really helped with, like, our energy.
So now it's been 3 years since the two of you suited up in green and white. Of course, as freshmen that year, you were back for 2017. What has life held for you in these last 3 years since you were at DVC?
For me, honestly, just lots of school. It's funny, me and actually a few of the teammates from the 2016 team, and even a few from the 2017 team, we all are going to Sac State now. So that's fun. It's fun that I get to still see them. Me, Tosh, and Ava actually all played on the club team at Sac State, and then and Dee Dee were on the NCAA team. So it was cool that, like, we were all still able to play and, like, still, like, be able to interact with each other. But that's pretty much what I've been up to. Stay active.
I'm not playing anymore, which makes me sad. But I'm at the University of San Diego, and I graduate next year, or this coming year.
And what are you studying there?
Psychology.
Okay, so a lot of discussion about psyching out teams with early goals, so we'll go ahead and parlay that into a little more.
Yep.
Now, I used to ask a question during the sophomore interviews, and I never got to interview the two of you because by the time you were sophomores, I was chair of the chemistry department. I didn't have time to call games anymore. But it was always this thing about what do you think you'll remember the most 5 years from now about playing at DVC? Let's go ahead and hear now. It's been 3 years. What is it that would be the first thing that jumps to your mind when you hear the word Vikings?
I think of, honestly, my teammates. Like, I've made, like, the best bonds with people. Like, we're a family now. Like, we don't even consider each other, like, just teammates. We're a family. And just how much fun it was just to be able to play with the group of girls that all had, like, the same mindset. Like, our mindset was, we want to go all the way to the top. We want to win. We want to, not only do it for ourselves as individuals, but for our teammates. Like, we would fight for each other. And it's a bond that will probably never be broken. And I'm really happy that I got to meet all these girls, honestly.
Yeah. My word would be family, because we were such a family. I mean, you're, like, all my teammates are some of my best friends now. But Coach created such an environment that was a competitive environment. We all wanted to win. It was demanding, but it was also a lot of fun. So it was just the best possible mix of all those things. And what I love most about our team was that we didn't settle for second place. Like, we wanted first place, and we always worked for that.
And I've been taking the opportunity with this question to then tell the players, since every one of you has kind of touched my heart in some way or another, what the first thing that jumped to mind for me was when I got on the computer and tried to contact you. Like, what is the quintessential moment for me? And the funny thing is, for both of you, it's actually something from 2017, not from 2016. Actually, come to think of it, I think they're both from the Santa Rosa road trip that I came out with you all on. And for Chloe, it was that group hug that I had with you and Sabrina at the end of that game. I don't think I realized that y'all noticed to quite the same extent that I wasn't there anymore, and made me feel, Megan talks about the family, it made me feel incredibly loved in that moment. And so it's something that brightened that entire crazy semester for me. For Megan, I think it came... What's that?
What part of the family?
Oh, yeah, we were sad to see you.
So that was huge for me. And then later on, I think it was in line at Chipotle. That game, I'd noticed that Megan, you've always been a huge competitor, obviously very talented player. But I noticed in the middle of that you'd started to get a bit more attitude on the field when dealing with opposing players. And the best part is we're in line at Chipotle, and I turn to you and I say, "Hey, Megan, is it my imagination, or do you have a little bit of a mean streak developing?" And the juxtaposition was incredible because it was the bubbliest thing I'd heard from you all day, and it was just you turning to me going, "I know!" and that was the response, like, "You got a mean streak. I know!" It delighted me to no end. So always an absolute, both of you, just wonderful, sweet people to be around, and at the same time, just lethal on a soccer field. That's what comes to mind for me. Well, before we call it a day here, any shout-outs to old teammates or coaches that might be watching our broadcast here?
I don't know who in particular, but I guess everyone. Like, I feel like everyone has made a huge impact on each of our lives, especially the coaches. They've all definitely, I feel like I've developed a lot from being at DVC, and even, like, the girls, they're all amazing. I love all of them, and we're just a big family, and I still consider them like my sisters.
Yeah. All the players, obviously, but shout out to Coach, because this team wouldn't be what it was without her. She was, I feel like, my biggest supporter, or obviously my family and everything, but she really gave me the confidence to play my game. I've struggled with confidence with playing for the longest time before I got to DVC, but Coach really was someone who helped me gain that confidence and just helped me play to my potential, and I'm very, very, very thankful.
So, well, Chloe, Megan, it's been great catching up with the two of you. We look forward to seeing more of those teammates and coaches here as we progress through that memorable year. For now, we've got an exciting second half to watch as we send the line back to Stockton for the final 45, 1-1 as we restart on Vikings Soccer Rewind. Andrea Story with 2 goals, and Aberin Calvin with a hat trick. ARC winning 2-0 over Sierra. Emma Granner in the 4th, Amanda Holtzen in the 56th. So a bit of a surprising result for the Beavers. They both go up now to 7 points in the standings and hop Sierra and, oddly enough, Delta. Both of them are now above Delta, and San Joaquin Delta at the moment are tied for second to last in the conference, although if they just get a draw here today, that would put them level with them on 7 as well. But people just kind of beating up on each other like crazy in this conference. All of them, of course, just 4 points back of DVC. Ball is out at the near sideline. Dre Weinstein ready to take the throw, trying to find Rubalcaba. Bounces behind her. Jasmine Baswheel actually knocks it down, and it comes right to Vanessa. Vane touching it through the arrival of Kiki Munoz into the center circle for Lindemann. Sprays it out here to the left, looking for McDonald. Looks to cut her run in towards the center from there. Working against Braun. Slides it in at the half moon for Melara. Touched away for a moment by Erica Diaz. She tries to put the ball back out to the left for McDonald, but it's intercepted there by the 24 Braun. Put down the right flank immediately by CRC, looking to engage Leah Manaleleua. Again, it's Dargan winning that contrast. Clearing a ball right over the head of Erica McDonald, who got down in a hurry. Claimed at the center stripe by Delta and worked over to the right side for Olivia Ritter. Trying to feed that down the right. Deflected away by Dej Dargan and out for a throw-in. Quickly here, the substitutes that we have not yet seen for each side. In the defense, a ton of defenders available to Miss Sorensen, Hannah Burgess, Bailey Stavoloni, Taylor McGuire, Chloe Benham, and then in the midfield, Jessica Hufford, Aubrey Kimball, and Iris Cruz. We've already seen the forward Alyssa Holmes. We have not seen the last midfielder, Bella Cardenas, nor their backup goalkeeper, Domenica Vargas Espinosa. Throw-in taken to the right side of the box. Knocked down by a Delta player and now cleared into the I keep wanting to say tribune because the word in Italian is tribuna, the spectator stands. Looks like that took a deflection, though, as Dej put it out, so it's a throw-in for the Vikings. Jess Jaime taking that down the near sideline. Rubalcaba again working against Baswheel to try to spring through for the Vikings, and now she does manage to get through and sprays it to the right side for Cam Chan. Melara looking to get herself into motion. Cam will dribble into the center circle. Puts it now over to the left for Erica McDonald. Her first touch to the thigh, and she looks to get by Rachel Braun. Still McDonald working on it. Lemus trying to pressure as well. Drop back to the goalkeeper, and she will clear from directly between her 2 center defenders. Met with the head of Jess Jaime. Strong header towards Rubalcaba. Pops up in the air. Melara looking for it. She and Diaz working against one another. Diaz pokes it free, and Munoz trying to get to it. Now drop back for Dre. Forward for Rubalcaba. She looks to use the body and her momentum. Got through one defender. Burnham now working against her, and Rubalcaba's got it back. Rubalcaba steps through another two defenders. Vane pulls it, and it's nearly an own goal. That was not going to be a shot on frame, but the deflection put it just wide of the right side as Vane had dragged it too far left. 9th Viking shot, nearly even in that category, 3 minutes in. Great individual effort by Rubalcaba, and McDonald coming off 2 goals in her match against Sac City, has 2 assists this season, both of them off corners like this. This ball drifting into the 18-yard box. Arriving! Goal! Go, 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 Noel, 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 Noel! Levis! In the 4th minute of the second half, DVC back on top, and boy is it fun to feel like a fortune teller. Erica McDonald's 3rd assist of the season. They've all come from the right side corner flag. She's found Stridiron and Rubalcaba against West Valley, and today she finds Noel Lemus, who in theory should be the easiest one to find in there. And DVC are back on top 2-1 in the 49th. Now they will set about defending sternly, and of course Delta will set about trying to put together something. A ball rolled in toward the half moon for Muñiz, intercepted instead by Melara. Sprays it over to the right side for Chan. She's got a lot of room to run into, and has an overlap coming on the right from Dre Weinstein, and she'll try to serve Dre a little bit too hard and not enough curl. That goes out and is held in play, or held near the sideline by our near sideline match official, Clint Copeland. Burnham takes the throw in. Cam Chan offering immediate pressure. Bounces off of her as she tries to take it away again from the number 4, Daisha Brown. It seems to be Brown, Manaleleua, and Ritter still working as the attacking line. Brown on the left, Ritter seems to be on the right. Muñiz still in the midfield, and she's working against Megan Melara. She's gotten through her. Muñiz arriving near the edge of the 18. Fires! Palmed over by Katie McLaughlin. That might be the best save she's had this season. That ball was hooking and curling all sorts of ugly-looking ways. So Delta retake the lead in shots now, 11-10. Actually, no, excuse me. That's right. 7-5, the advantage in shots on goal, but DVC on top 2-1. The corner from the left side is on the ground. Trying to get to that is Muñiz, looking to get turned. Drops it into the top of the 18-yard box for Backswheel, and it's cleared away by DVC. Ritter trying to hold that ball there. Lemus gets a touch to it. Taken by Braun. Tries to hook that back into the 18-yard box. Headed away by Zoe Raymer. Into the middle now. Melara is able to get a touch to it, and now finally cleared decisively by Dre Weinstein, and the ball's back into the Delta half. Hoof forward for a moment by Delta. Erica McDonald trying to hold the ball, but it's taken away by Manaleleua, and now it's Kiki Muñiz trying to feed her over her right shoulder. Nothing doing. Good work again by Zoe. She clears it all the way down to the left side. We'll see if Emac can get there and put a little pressure on the 7, Simonich. She does. Simonich has to slide to keep the ball in play. Does so, though. Jessica Jaime attacking Ritter. The ball out off of younger one, and it'll be a throw-in for Delta. Over on the DVC side, available subs that we haven't seen yet: Lula Valdivia, Carly Andrade, Sabrina DeBartoleben in the backline areas. As far as forwards, we've got Lizzie Chavez, Maria Winder, Hannah Lewis, and Alex Rodriguez that we've yet to see. Vikings having to make do without Marlene Huerta. Look out! A ball mishandled by Dre Weinstein. Here comes a shot, and after a touch from Leah Manaleleua, it's into the body of Katie McLaughlin. But even with the save, Alex Laban unhappy with what he just saw. I believe that was Weinstein who whiffed on the ball that was coming across the 18-yard box. Came right to, I think it was Daisha Brown. It's back in their possession now. Diaz trying to put a ball right up the gut for Manaleleua, but it's too strong. Comes right to Katie McLaughlin. Scary stuff. This time Delta trying to get their response a little quicker than they did in the first half. Basswheel handles the McLaughlin drop kick, puts it out to the left side. That's going to take one big hop on the artificial surface and go out for a Viking throw-in on the left. So we were saying DVC having to make do without Marlene Huerta today. A death in the family, and we all, of course, send our thoughts to the Huerta family and hope to see her again soon and hope to offer her all the support we can. Vikings back in possession here. Basswheel Forward for Olivia Ritter on the right side. Changing the point of attack, gets this to Manaleleua. She's off the shoulder of a defender and fires. McLaughlin pops it up with her fists and grabs on. "13 shots, 9 of them on frame so far for Delta, and DVC having a hard time getting out of their own zone. Goal kick met by Basweel, but this time Rubalcaba is able to get to it and control it. Lays it back for Melara. Forward for Lemus, and a great heel flick for Rubalcaba to run onto. Trying to find McDonald leaking out the left side. She stayed on side. Here comes Erica. Collides with Olivia Ritter at the edge of the 18-yard box after losing the ball a little bit. And that's going to be a free kick for DVC. Excuse me, not Ritter. That would be Simonich, I think, that she put to ground. Sorry for the paper noises, but the wind wreaking havoc right now as it has picked up a little bit in wind. Not a particularly hot day today in Stockton, just 75 degrees at kickoff, and it feels like it may have dropped another 5 degrees or so here. A wind picking up, blowing towards the Delta goal, but DVC right now with the wind at their backs, at least figuratively. Ball worked over to the left side for McDonald. Holds it in play, drops it back for Jaime. Jessica puts this into the center for Zoe. Sprayed out here to the right wing for Cam Chan, and she looks to take on Devin Burnham. Chan sees the overlap coming from Dre down the right side. Dre touches it inside the arrival of Daisha Brown. Dre's ball into the center for Lemus. She looks to defend it, tries to get turned onto the right. Lemus firing, and Valentine will claim that at the top of her 6. 13-11, the shots count right now in favor of Delta, but all that matters is the ones that have found the net. In fact, if we're being honest, the Delta one didn't even actually find the back of the net. It narrowly nudged its way across the line. Ball cleared away on the far sideline. And a throw to come here for Delta, over from the right side of their midfield. So the one score we are still waiting on is probably the biggest match remaining in the Big 8. Besides the one that we're watching right here, and that's between Santa Rosa and Modesto. I'm a little frustrated by that, seeing as how it ended at 3, and this game didn't start till 4:30, but they're taking their sweet time to get it online, and we'll wait patiently. Ball out again on the far sideline. Throw in to come for DVC, and Tasha Stridiron looks to enter. She will come in for Vanessa Rubalcaba. Trying to sum up what I'm seeing right now for Delta, it does appear to be Basweel, Diaz, and Muñiz in the midfield. As we mentioned, it's Brown on the left, Ritter on the right, and Manaleleua in the center of their attack. And then the back line appears to be Burnham here on the left side, as was the case most of the game. Wells and Simonich in the center, also the same as it has been. And Rachel Braun over on the right. So it's the starting defensive line in front of Valentine. Ball played over to the right side by Delta. A couple of big hops over near the far sideline. Manaleleua gets off the shoulder of Jaime. Here comes Manaleleua, and up steps Zoe Raymer to clear that from in front of her. And that ball nicely finds the feet of Erica McDonald, and DVC might think about springing a counterattack. 1-2 between Lemus and McDonald. Can she beat Braun to it? She can't, but the ball gets nudged back out into the left flank by Braun's challenge. And with Erica McDonald breathing down her neck, Hunter Wells puts it out for a Viking throw. Just as a heads up, getting harder and harder to see what's going on down at that far sideline in the Vikings attack because the sun is setting directly over it. Throw in taken by Melara, plays it off Basweel, goes out for another DVC throw about 30 yards from goal. This one played to the chest of Noelle Lemus, trying to get turned around Simonich. Still Lemus. Now drifts back. Tries to feed Cam Chan. She heads that ball in the direction of goal. Would have needed quite a bit more oomph on it to get that over Valentine, but that'll go down as the Vikings' 12th shot and 7th on frame, against 13 and 9 by Delta. Long ball driven here. Chloe Lindemann gets to it. Puts it forward for Melara, who ends up on the ground under the challenge of Muñiz. No foul given, and Kiki Muñiz looks to get into turbo. Here comes Muñiz, trying to step around another player. Finds Manaleleua. In on goal, Manaleleua. And it's level. The equalizer from the likeliest suspect. And so in minute number 57, Manu from Muñiz, and it's 2-2. Very, very exciting match so far, given what we very much what we were expecting here, a pyrotechnic affair. These two teams had two of the best defenses in California last year. We mentioned that DVC have one of the best ones in the state right now, but it's getting punctured at the moment by this pyrotechnic attack. Substitution time, McDonald out, Ramos in. This defense had conceded just 4 goals going into today, which was the 3rd best goals against average in the state, behind only Chaffee and San Diego Mesa, best one in Northern California. It's going to take a little bit of a hit right now. Meanwhile, Katie McLaughlin was sixth in the state in goals against average and best in Northern California for keepers with at least 200 minutes under their belt at .43. That additionally is now going to be about 50% larger. And here's Manaleleua trying to get off the back of Raymer. Heel flicks it for Muñiz, but way too far, and the foul is called first in favor, I think, of Delta. A dangerous free kick coming up here on the Vikings' fifth foul. Raymer locked in a battle right there with Manaleleua and had a handful of her, according to the match official. So the Vikings will put their wall in place. We've got a little over a half hour to go. And it is Manaleleua to take it. 5 Vikings in the wall. They station themselves about 2 yards inside the 18, which would seem to indicate that this is from about 26 yards out. Lightly pushed over to the left. Maybe at about the left edge of the 6-yard box. Here comes her shot. She looks to go far post and can't get it to curl. So that's out for a goal kick. The wall does its job. And we remain on level terms, 2-2 through 59 minutes. We were able over the break to get a little information about cross country. They were in Modesto at the Modesto Invitational, although that's going to have to wait because Delta are attacking again. It's Olivia Ritter on the right side trying to take on Jaime in a battle of 14s, right near the right side corner flag. Banks that off of Jaime, the ball still rolling. Forced to play it. Thought about trying to let it go out for a corner kick. Ramos comes out to double teamer, and they play it off of Carla. Throw in to come, and they have done a few long throw-ins. The warning coming from Erica McDonald to watch out for it. Here comes that long throw towards the right edge of the box. Knocked down by Manaleleua. Erica Diaz trying to get to it, but it's cleared from in front of her by Carla. Ball bouncing around near Noelle Lemus. Lemus is able to steal the ball away from a defender, but it's going to come all the way back to Simonich. Can't blame her for getting too hard of a touch on that. She was airborne trying to block that. Here's a ball over the top. Looks for Daisha Brown. DVC a little bit exposed. Daisha Brown firing, and McLaughlin saving again. Another big one by Katie Mack. On the 10th Delta shot on goal, you would have to say at this point through an hour, they have had the better of the offensive chances. They've been the first team to actually create something off of something other than a mess. A really nice action over the top there between Muñiz and her. Lindemann with an arm on the back of the Delta player commits a foul. Actually, no, the foul given in favor of DVC. My mistake. I think the judgment being that as Daisha Brown tried to run forward, she had a handhold on Lindemann, and she went to ground as soon as the ball went away. Long ball forward is off the head of Burnham and out for another Viking throw, so DVC gain about 40 yards on that. Here comes that throw. Megan Melara on the ball, plays that off of the 36 bass wheel. Another chance for a throw-in. She goes immediately down the right sideline looking for Cam Chan. Can she get there before it goes over the byline? Unfortunately not. No one makes a touch, and it's a goal kick. And so Valentine will take that in just a moment. Meanwhile, we were saying cross country has had their meet at Modesto today, the Modesto Invitational. DVC women actually finishing in second place among the teams that were there, led by Ariana Corwin, 20 minutes and 21 seconds. Her 5K time good for 7th at the meet. Meanwhile, the men, a little bit rougher of a finish, but they were paced by Ian Ryder, 22 minutes, 20 seconds in the 4-mile run. First time, I believe, that he has been the leading runner for DVC. Ball forward by Muñiz looking for Manaleleua, not able to handle it, and Zoe Raymer clears. Carla Ramos trying to knock that ball down and then go chase in front of Rachel Braun. Braun gets good position, though. Drops it back to the 7. Simonich. Lemus trying to take it away, defending it against 2 Delta players, and earns DVC a free kick on the 9th Delta foul. This is from a promising position. The Vikings have scored from things like this, certainly from this right side. It is Megan Melara going over to take it. She's the right footer. She'll try to curl the ball in at the far post. Ramos, Chan, Lemus, and Lindemann inside the 18, along with 5 Delta defenders. Here comes the ball floated in, looking for Chan, just barely over her head, and out the back for a goal kick. So the general sentiment at halftime was that after the FLC game and the Modesto game last week, DVC a little bit tired of draws. Admittedly, this is one that would do fine things for their power points average, if that's what they got. Ale Gonzalez coming in for Melara at the break and play here, by the way. And it wouldn't do horrible things to their standing in the league, although it would give Folsom Lake a chance to potentially jump them when DVC take their bye in about a week and a half. At the moment, for the first time after the Folsom Lake win over Delta, DVC are firmly in first place in the conference due to the fact that everybody in the conference has dropped points in at least 2 matches. DVC, the only team that hasn't lost one yet. So as a result, with that bye week, you have a lot of teams, as the ball's out for a Viking throw-in over at the far sideline, you have a lot of teams that have a game in hand right now. Modesto, Delta, Sierra, American River, and Sac City have all taken their bye. Ball being worked in the midfield. Manaleleua dumps it to Muñiz, leaves it back for Ritter. Here comes a ball into the 18-yard box, just over the top of one player. It's going to come near Manaleleua. There's a whistle and a foul in attack. The 10th today against Delta, and a free kick coming up for the Vikings. She takes that free kick very, very short and on the ground. It goes right to Kiki Muñiz, claimed over here at the right side. Here comes a cross, and that looks to go straight into the back. Another goal kick here, and Katie will try to do a little better with this one. 26 minutes left to go. 2-2 your scoreline. Melara, then Burnham. Lemus, then Manaleleua. So your table at the moment has DVC on 11. Folsom Lake are on bye, so they'll stay on 10. If this result held, DVC would move to 12 points as this goal kick again comes to the head of Kiki Muñiz. Attempt by Dre Weinstein to clear is walled off by the midfielder, and now out in the left wing to Olivia Ritter. Ritter comes to a stop, tries to play it into a teammate, and Cam Chan all the way back in the left flank of the defense claims that ball. Goes out to the midfield stripe where it's taken by the 13 Hunter Wells. Finds Simonich. Simonich trying to spring an attack, but it's blocked by Tasha Stridiron, and she looks to get herself moving up the field under the pressure from Muñiz. Leaves it for Ale. Baswell is, again, trying to author pressure. The ball is reflected by Hunter Wells. It'll go all the way to Katie Mack's box, and Katie claims it. So finishing off that table, we don't yet know what Santa Rosa has done. They may well have a chance to jump or at least tie up DVC if this result holds, if they beat Modesto today. Modesto are on 7 with a match in hand. Santa Rosa currently on 9. And DVC on the run. Carla Ramos on the left side, putting a ball into the 18. Knocked down with a head, but it's right by Noelle Lemus. She turns and tries to fire, but gets well under that. The ball was at about hip height. And so the Vikings' 13th shot is decidedly not lucky today. And another goal kick, this one to be taken by Valentine. Lindemann battling in the center with Diaz, not able to get it, but it comes to Ritter. Dre Weinstein trying to take it away from her. Ritter gets through her, slides it over to the left corner of the 18-yard box for Manaleleua. Raymer coming out to challenge. Still Manaleleua earns the byline. Here comes her cross into the 18, and it's too sharp for everybody. As there was a good bit of goal to shoot at if she could have gotten there. Oh, collision between Stridiron, who got ball, and there is no foul called. And maybe the play of the year for her. The Delta player remains on the turf inside the 18. That could have been called a penalty, but the judgment is that Stridiron got all ball and was not reckless about that challenge. Rising to her feet now is the right forward, who I imagine must be Holmes, at least judging by the hair. That would be Alyssa Holmes, the 5 over there. Yes, indeed. That was who Stridiron went in against. Throw-in is taken from that clearance. Manaleleua over by the right side corner flag. Dargan rather, bodying her up. Ball's out for a throw right by that corner flag. We'll worry about the table later. Alyssa Holmes goes over there to take this. She and Ritter right now bracketing Manaleleua as the front line. Diaz, Baswell, and Muñiz, the midfield. And here is the throw looking for Baswell. Her cross to the far post, way too deep. Goes straight through the 6, but very, very high and actually out the back line without a touch from... Actually, that was Baswell chasing that. I'm not quite sure who it was that hit it. The light is weird right now, and she is real far away. So completing that table, we said DVC at the moment would be at 12. Folsom Lake will stay on 10. Santa Rosa is at 9, but could end up as high as 12 if they beat Modesto. Modesto's at 7, but could be as high as 10 if they beat Santa Rosa. Delta, for the time being, would seem to be on 7 if this result holds. Sierra are now still on 6. ARC and Cosumnes River have jumped to 7 points, so they're actually ahead of both Delta and Sierra, and Sac City bottom of the table on 0. Comes the throw in to the right side of the box. Manaleleua again battling Dej Dargan. Drop back to Rachel Braun. She tries to put in a cross. Looks like she got way too much of that. It's over the top of the two defenders. Cleared by Cam Chan from the 6. Ball still rattling around, and Muñiz trying to get to it. Cleared away by Jess Jaime. Desperate defending right there. Chan tried to get rid of it, but it stayed inside the 18. We've been living over there for a little bit. Hard for me to even tell you what DVC's formation is right now because at the moment it is your defensive line, then a crowd, and then Noelle Lemus up top. Manaleleua receives a throw in. Here comes her ball inside looking for Ritter. McLaughlin comes out and claims it from in front of her, and a foul, I believe, is whistled for the collision between those two players. Either that or the referee wants to give Katie a chance to get back to her feet. Coming up with a little bit of a limp. May have been swept under slightly by the number 14 in black. Okay, indeed, it was whistled as the 11th Delta foul, and Katie Mack takes the free kick, headed just over the head of Noelle Lemus by, I think, Ale Gonzalez. Cleared down by Delta, claimed by Stridiron. Tasha still on it, and Chloe Lindemann claims that in front of the 21 Erica Diaz, who's asking for a foul, nothing given. Her ball forward to Ale, pops the ball up with her foot, and now starts working her way forward, now drops it back to Dre Weinstein. Dre got herself around the person defending her there, tries to float it over to the right side for Cam Chan, nothing doing. Throw in to come here for Delta, and Megan Melara awaiting her re-entry. So it does at least seem to be the standard starting forward line. Chan, Lemus, and Ramos as a foul is whistled against Chloe Lindemann, colliding with Diaz in the center, 6th Viking foul. So a free kick to be taken from about 10 yards across the midfield stripe. Midfield currently Gonzalez, Lindemann, and I think Rubalcaba. Yeah, there she is. Burnham takes the free kick short. Ritter lets it go through her own legs, tries to run onto it on the left side. Facing up Dre Weinstein, now puts it on her right foot. Here comes a cross inside, headed straight up in the air by Tasha Stridiron. Lindemann not quite able to get there to clear it any better. Knocked down is Ale Gonzalez by the challenge from behind from Erica Diaz, and nothing is given. A little frustration coming from the Viking bench, and particularly from me. Weinstein, though, able to win the ball off Ritter. Brought forward for Noelle. Lemus. Not a ton of pressure. Now Diaz tries to author a little bit, and Lemus tries to wrap her body around this ball and play it forward for Cam. Not going to be able to hold it in play. Tried to nudge it forward. Wouldn't have really been anybody to feed up there anyhow. Little under 20 minutes left in today's encounter. 71st minute, 2-2. Probably the most back-and-forth game we've seen. Still DVC yet to trail this season. Very, very hopeful that it will remain that way. Simonich comes up and avoids the pressure from Carla Ramos, clears the ball up the gut for Delta. DVC back in control. Ale Gonzalez chasing the ball that she tried to settle off of Dre Weinstein's clearance. Dre stuck in against Ritter. Ritter with a handful of Dre Weinstein's jersey. Nothing being given here. No quarter. Weinstein trying to work the ball back, and Mr. Copeland says that is Delta ball. My mistake. Rubalcaba must not be on the field. It must be... Oh, it's Stridiron Gonzalez and Lindemann right now. So Rubalcaba and Melara both at the midfield stripe, getting ready to re-enter. Throw in by Wells was nearly mishandled and given to Lemus. Her long ball is headed authoritatively out from the top of the 18 by Stridiron. Reclaimed by Delta. Basswheel drops it back to Burnham. Forward for Ritter. She tries to work her run into the center. Now finds Muñiz at the top of the 18. Closed it in upon by Stridiron. Forced to backtrack. Now dumps it to the right side for the arrival of Holmes. Holmes trying to get in position for a cross. Slips to the ground on the artificial turf. And Jaime will clear for a throw-in on the far sideline. Then the Vikes will continue to wait for their substitution with 18 minutes, 18 seconds to go here in half number 2. Only other DVC team to mention is water polo. Rough season so far for the women. Rick Millington's women falling 11-0 to ARC. They are now 2-9, coming off of a Northern California regional championship season. The men, meanwhile, 8-5 now after beating ARC in a tight game 9-7. Long ball played in towards the box. Muñiz in pursuit, but McLaughlin is out to grab it. So the women will next be in action at Fresno on October 5th. That's a Wednesday. The men are off for the next week, but they'll be in action at the Riverside Tournament next weekend. Only other Viking team to mention is lacrosse, but that'll have to wait until Leah Manaleleua tries to get off the back of Raymer and Dargan. Bundled to ground, and the referee says, get back up, and the Vikings breathe a sigh of relief. Cameron Chan, forward for Gonzalez, and Ale working her way forward. She's trying to spring Carla over on the left side. Lemus is way offside. Don't feed her. Here comes Carla, working her way over into the box. Carla, bundled to ground. She tries to get back up. The goalkeeper is out. Fire! Fire! Gonzalez! Just barely wide. Valentine had come way out of her own goal. Both teams within the span of about 40 seconds with real calls for penalty kicks, and at the very least, our match official has been consistent. He didn't give it when Ramos went to ground. He didn't give it when Manaleleua went to ground. Ramos got back up, though, and with Valentine way out trying to grab the ball, gave Ale a chance to take a rip from distance. Delta's leading scorer is back to her feet, but walking with a little bit of a limp right now with about a quarter of an hour left in today's encounter. Teams rush over to get some liquid refreshment. And we'll see if our official is going to allow the substitution at long last on that goal kick. DVC now have added Maya Himmel to the group that is waiting to enter. Thus far, no indication, though, and so the shot count now 15-14 in favor of Delta. 10-7 in terms of those that have been on frame. The foul count 11-6, with Delta having more of those. Just 2 corner kicks in today's match. Actually, I should say 3, and 2 of them have led to 2 of our 4 goals today. Valentine trying to quick start the encounter. The referee, Mr. Almeida, says, no, put that back. So the substitutions are made, and it seems to now be Ruvalcaba at the center forward position with Himmel and Ramos bracketing her, Gonzalez, Melara, and Stridiron the midfield. Same old defense, Weinstein, Raymer, Dargan, and Jaime still contending with that front line. And here is Natasha Stridiron claiming a ball in the midfield. Can't get by the next defender, but Megan Melara is to it. Looks for Maya Himmel over here on the right side. Maya touches that a little bit around Burnham, now puts it into Burnham, and she is able to take that away. Puts it into the center, though, and it's right to Tosh Stridiron, and she immediately refeeds Maya down the right side. Met here by Hunter Wells, wrapping over from the center-back position and covering the space left by Burnham's advance up the field. Throw in for the Vikings. Looks like Maya will take that. Oh, Cam Chan is now the right back instead of Dre. I missed that part. Melara trying to hold a ball in, puts it down the side, and stretching out was Maya Himmel to try to hold it as it got to the line. Out for a Mustang throw, and they will take a substitution here. Daisha Brown re-entering for Alyssa Holmes, so she, Ritter, and Manaleleua remain the front line. Diaz, Muñiz, and Baswil the midfield. And the same defense we've had for almost the entire game. Braun and Burnham bracketing Wells and Simonich. Here's your reset. Valentine at the back of one defense and McLaughlin at the back of the other. Throw-in is taken back to Hunter Wells, put into the center circle to no one in particular. Up steps Jess Jaime, forward for Gonzalez. Ale trying to work around Baswil. Puts it over to the right here for Melara. Has to get on her horse to hold the ball in play. Finds Maya Himmel, stops it, but then rolls it out of play. Throw again to come for Burnham. Here comes that toss in the direction of Olivia Ritter, bodied up by Cam Chan. Played off of Melara, and it sits nicely for Ritter. She tries to put a ball forward. Zoe Raymer has it go through her, and Dargan luckily back there to clean it up. Put out here to the left side. Maya Himmel did not play that quite in time. Lets it go over the touchline for a throw. They take it quickly. Olivia Ritter holding that from Burnham. Collides with Cam Chan, and that is the 7th Viking foul. It's actually kind of funny. I'm half glad that they did not call the penalty kick against Carla Ramos. It would have been absolutely infuriating to the Delta fans, and I think they might have had a real gripe about inconsistency. So glad to see Mr. Almeida calling it the same both ways. Meanwhile, it is going to be a free kick for that collision. Coach Mullins not happy with that, as she thought it was a body-on-body challenge, and the player just happened to go flying. No one really could have been judged to be in possession of that ball yet. At any rate, it is a free kick coming from the left wing, about 5 or 6 yards inbound of this near sideline. Hand up, and here comes the ball in from Rachel Braun. This is drifting into the 18, takes one big hop, still alive inside, headed over the top, and Katie McLaughlin snatches it out of midair. Given the way that that 3 of our goals have happened today, just hearts in throats every time there's a set piece right now. Hunter Wells meeting the Katie McLaughlin drop kick on one hop, but not able to hold it for Delta. Stridiron's got it after the settle from Maya Himmel. Works it to the left side for Ramos. Forward looking for the arrival of Ruvalcaba. Touched away by a Delta defender, and off they spring down the right side. Seems to be the 13 Hunter Wells advancing way up the field and now spraying it over to the right side. Trying to get into position is Manaleleua over on the right. Dropping it back now for Erica Diaz. She gets there just before Melara, and they hold possession. Diaz working into the right and now leaving it over there for Daisha Brown. Here comes her cross looking for Muñiz. Played away by Jess Jaime. And settled nicely by Carla Ramos. And DVC do not have numbers right now, but Carla is going to try and beat her immediate defender with her speed. Not quite able to. Has to resist the flank. Now goes through two on the dribble and tries to feed this centrally for Rubalcaba. Nothing doing. The two defenders close like elevator doors, and it goes back to Valentine. Her clearance in the direction of Ritter over here at this sideline, and Cam Chan takes it away. Cam trying to get it out of her own feet. Held by Ritter. No foul given. Himmel has it poked away from her, and it's a Viking throw. 11 minutes, 45 seconds left. Here's the throw into the feet of Megan Melara. Megan trying to gallop around one defender and absorbs a foul. With little advantage to call there, it is given by Mr. Almeida. Trying to see what's going on for DVC. We are looking straight into the sunset at this point. I'm sure it'll make for good-looking video because everybody on that side is well lit. Everybody from my perspective is completely backlit. Thank heavens I know hairstyles. This is about the position where DVC got their game winner against Las Positas from. It'll be Ramos from about 25 yards near the right sideline. Here comes her ball in. Not really curling. It's near the top of the 18. Falling near Ale Gonzalez. She swings to try to fire, and a foul is judged to have been committed, maybe by Melara. She did have a handful of the player she was battling with. 12-8, that foul count. Free kick taken and hit with the body of Ritter, and it's going to fall nicely for Devin Burnham, who accelerates into the left flank, tries to put a ball into the 18 for Muñiz, meets it with her head, ball settles for her, Manaleleua, drops that into space for Muñiz, look out, an opportunity to shoot, nope, she passes that up, gives it to Brown, just over the top of the goal. Whoo-wee, 80th minute, and Daisha Brown got everything behind that and just could not hold it downward. 16th Delta shot against 14 for DVC. 11th shot, said yet to, that one rather, excuse me, I put a little mark. That one wasn't on goal. 10-7 still the shots on goal count. Very evenly played match, a very deserved point for both sides if that's what it comes to, but both sides trying to snatch all three. It could be a major turning point in the Big 8 race if one of them do. The ball forward met with the foot of Zoe Raymer as it was attempted to be settled, and the clearance is put by Vanessa Rubalcaba into the left side. Carla Ramos getting to that. Here comes Carlita. Maya Himmel with a head of steam needs to hold her run. She is in an offside position. The ball won away for a moment here by the 7 Simonich. Ramos goes to ground, foul, and a DVC free kick to come. And Carla stays down for the time being. And does not look good. She starts to rise up a little bit, but she did fall pretty hard. May have gotten the wind knocked out of her, and we'll hope that that's all that it is. She has her hands on the back of her head. We're waiting for a signal from Mr. Almeida as to whether Carla needs assistance or not. She is back to her feet. And so apparently the training staff is going to stay off the field. Carla is going to move into the box to try to challenge for this, the warrior that she is. And it'll be a free kick from all the way over at the left sideline. This ball about 16 yards from the byline. Rubalcaba will take it. 2 in the wall. Vikings with 4 in the box. Here comes the ball in, going back post. It's over the top of the goal. Oh my goodness, I thought it was over the top of Valentine and into at the back corner. Unfortunately, it lands on top of the goal here in minute number 82. Consider that a direct attempt there. Melara meets the drop kick with her head. Or excuse me, the goal kick rather with her head. She tumbles to ground under Ritter. Another foul whistled, 14th against them. 16-15 your shot count. 10-7 your shots on goal count. Really, if Delta have had any failing today, it has been the volume of their fouls at this point, which have nearly cost them, have created some really good opportunities. Ball flicked by Ale Gonzalez. Is going to fall for Carla. Carla fires. Blocked at point-blank range, and a whistle coming from our match official for a handball, I believe, by Delta. Oh, my goodness. And he stands about a yard outside the box in the half moon. That bounding ball brought in by, I believe it was Zoe Raymer who cranked it deep. very nearly induced a handball that would have given DVC a PK in these final 10 minutes. This is a tough spot to try to put it on frame. But Ruvalcaba is somebody who could. It is from right at the center of the half moon. 4, maybe 5, now 6 in the wall for Delta. Vane, too high. 83rd minute, DVC even up the shot count, but it remains 2-2 on the scoreboard. Melara in the 4th. Off a rebound, punching it in at the far post. Burnham just barely nudging a ball over the goal line in the 26th on the developments of a corner. Noel Lemus a little more authoritatively off of a corner in the 49th to put DVC back on top. And then probably the nicest action we've seen all day between Muñiz and Manoleleua to create the equalizer. Melara on it. Clears that and into the DVC bench on the deflection from Burnham. Leaves it for Dre Weinstein, who has re-entered in the meanwhile. Tosses this over the shoulder of Noel Lemus, who has also come back in. Tries to hold the ball in at the touchline. Working at the byline. Rolls that. Enters the 18 from the left. Firing. Far post! And it just barely doesn't curl. Oh, that missed by maybe a foot. Getting flashbacks to the Santa Rosa game last year when the Vikings put an all-out assault at the goal down here by us in a match where they were trailing 1-0 and hit the post a couple of times, missed by mere feet like you just saw, well, like I just saw and just narrated. I'm hoping this one's going to have a happier ending. Carla Ramos taking a ball over on the left side, accelerating into that flank. Carla putting a cross in at the edge of the 18. Little bit of a dummy by Lemus, falls for Chan! And Chan can't keep the shot down. Vikings with a decisive lead on shots, looking for a win that could really propel them into a commanding Big 8 lead. Valentine drives this one deep. Chan knocks it down. Burnham is going to claim it, though, after that deflection. Ball forward looking for Ritter. She manages to work that through the legs of Dre Weinstein. Wasn't easy, but she did it. Megan Melara comes back. She ends up thrown to ground under the challenge from Ritter, and it's still on Ritter. Melara says she was grabbed back of her jersey. Nothing given by the match official. Here comes a cross into the 18. Met with the head of Manoleleua and on 2 hops into the body of Katie McLaughlin. Delta's failing, as we said, has been the volume of fouls, and they were lucky not to get called for another one there. The Vikings' problem has been wastefulness. But here's an opportunity. Chan found by a great ball from Lemus. Chan crossing in, knocked down with the body of the 24 Braun, and it'll stay right there. I think Cam was trying to feed Carla Ramos at the left side. Final 5 minutes of today's encounter. Raymer in control after Delta tried to loft a ball up the left sideline. Weinstein forward looking for Lemus. Reflected. Melara gets to it. Her ball forward is intercepted by Burnham. Put into the center circle here for Kiki Muñiz. Manages to get herself around Stridiron and now tries to accelerate. Muñiz on the dribble. Still Muñiz now and working her way towards the back line of DVC. Muñiz firing from the right side, and she can't keep her shot down either. 18-18 your shot counts. Delta's virtue has been their aim. DVC's virtue has been their restraint. Those are currently canceling each other out. 2-2 in the 87th. Stridiron holds a ball under the challenge from Basswheel. Works it to Carlita. Forward now for Ramos, who's one-on-one with Simonich. Simonich gets the body in between. One of the few challenges we've seen Lemus lose. The ball forward looking for Weinstein, but a foul committed by Noel, trying to get the ball back, and it'll be called back for a Delta free kick. 9th by DVC against 14 for the Mustangs. Exactly the kind of match you would hope for with big implications. Simonich drives this one deep towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Flicked on in the direction of Ritter over on the left. Can she get there before it goes over the byline? Thank heavens she cannot. And it is out for a Viking goal kick. Substitution time. Ale Gonzalez re-enters for Cam Chan for these final 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Both teams looking for a late turn in the tail. For Delta, it has been 3 matches since they've had a win. For the Vikings, 3 matches since they had one that felt particularly good. Ball claimed by Braun. Had it for a moment. Melara got her body in between, and Melara gets her legs clipped out from under her. 15th foul committed by Delta. Free kick for DVC. Weinstein from just inside her own half, just inside the sideline. Looking for Lemus. Lemus manages to control under pressure from two defenders, drops it back into possession for Rubalcaba, intercepted there by Delta, and here comes Devin Burnham with a head of steam, working her way up through the midfield stripe, Stridiron chasing, tries to put this up the left-hand channel for Manaleleua. Raymer trying to body her off, still Manaleleua, gets it onto her left, crossing to the far post, reflected there by DVC, and finally cleared by Weinstein as Jess Jaime, who took that ball off the left side of the 6-yard box. Ball pops up, and Carla Ramos looks to get it settled. Carla looking to take on Rachel Braun, knocks it by her, tries to beat her with her speed. Unfortunately, Simonich crosses back and reclaims. My apologies for the interruption. We're right back here. Ale Gonzalez on the ball. Work forward looking for Noelle Lemus. Final 2 minutes of today's encounter. Noelle sprays us over here to the right side for Ale. Ale, chance to get it across. On the ground, rolling towards the 6. And claimed in front of Rubalcaba. My apologies for that interruption. Had a brief moment of my recorder turning off for some reason. And not even actually turning off, but just stopping the recording of that particular session. Gonzalez on the ball, working her way towards the midfield. Still Ale, spraying a ball over to the left, looking for Carla Ramos. We're still in the 3-quarter zone, all the way over on the left flank. Awaiting the final whistle and awaiting, hopefully, a DVC goal to win this. Ramos puts a ball in near the top of the center circle, cleared away by Erica Diaz. Trying to chest that down is Manaleleua, battling with Dargan. Works it over to the right flank, trying to find Daisha Brown. Manaleleua still battling. Doesn't settle it, but does drop it back for a teammate. Now put over to the right flank for Daisha Brown. Tries to put a ball in towards the center. Still Brown. Brown absorbs a small shove from Jaime. Tries to cross. Jaime holds it right there. Doesn't even give up the corner. Ball up the left sideline. Ramos can't hold it in. Bombed immediately back into the box by Delta. Popped up with a head and right into the arms of Katie Mack. Final moments. DVC bombed the ball forward. Both teams want a win tonight, but it may not be in the cards for either of them. Devin Burnham wins a ball, and there is a player on the deck hurt. Rachel Braun still there. Does finally get to her feet. We'll see our match official add a little bit of time on. And the substitution will be made as she leaves the pitch. Ashlyn Sotelo comes back in. Have to wonder if it's a conditioning issue. Sotelo has started nearly every match, or for that matter, if it was as a result of overuse or the difficulties they had against Folsom Lake. Their defense certainly has held better against the Vikings attack, and we've seen Folsom's. It's not that much more fearsome than ours, I don't think. At any rate, DVC will sportingly give this ball back as Dre Weinstein punts it long. Our match official looks at his watch, as does the AR right in here in front of me. Punted deep, just over the head of Melara, but claimed for a moment by Dre Weinstein. Now back to Melara. Worked forward after a touch from a Delta player for Gonzalez. Tries to put it down the right side for Lemus. She's right back in pursuit. Looks like Hunter Wells got too much of that. It's out for a Viking throw. And we will see if there is enough time for one more attack. Dre Weinstein lofting this down the right side is going to find Lemus. Great throw. Noelle working against Simonich. Drops it back for Ale. Ale putting a ball into the 18-yard box. Out comes Valentine, and she'll take it. Nobody really there for DVC. Ramos made her run a little late. Ball cranked into the center circle. Leia Manaleleua tries to sombrero Dej Dargan. The ball still bouncing about. Zoe Raymer clears. Weinstein does well to hold that against Ritter. Puts it into the center. Baswheel comes up to it. Forward looking for Manaleleua. Out to the left side for Ritter. Pops up on her. Hit her in the chest. Cleared decisively by Megan Melara. Out here to the flank for Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to battle her way through the arrival of Burnham. Into the center for Lemus. Hunter Wells on her. Bodies are up. Good hold-up play. Puts this over the top looking for Rubalcaba, but it's too deep. Valentine is out. We've been playing for quite a while since that clock stopped. We have had a couple of injuries, so maybe some stoppage given. Haven't heard a 1 minute to go signal yet. Zoe Raymer clearing a ball as it bounced off of Melara. And that is going to do it. So a draw on the road at Stockton. It's a great result for the PowerPoints, maybe not quite as good for the Big 8 standings. DVC continue to stay undefeated when scoring first, but this time it is indeed a draw. Melara, Burnham, Lemus, and Manaleleua, one aside in the first half, one aside in the second. And that'll do it. We'll send it to the studio for analysis, highlights, and scores from around the Big 8. But your score here in Stockton, DVC 2, San Joaquin Delta 2. Thanks for tuning in to Vikings Soccer Rewind, everybody. We'll be back next Friday with a trip back to 2014 as Callie, Taylor, Megan, and the rest of my first DVC team welcome a club they haven't beaten in well over a decade, perennial champion Santa Rosa, to the Vike. And we'll be joined by right back Avery Van Horn and forward Hannah Harris at halftime. Until then, this is Joe Hickey, wishing you sweet, nostalgic dreams of green. See you next time.